In the complex landscape of U.S. auto production and trade policy, a recent analysis by Diane Swonk, chief economist at KPMG, has thrown doubt on the effectiveness of tariffs as a means to bolster domestic car manufacturing. Swonk's perspective comes at a pivotal moment as the U.S. is poised to implement a substantial 25% tariff hike on automobiles, a move that has raised eyebrows among industry analysts and economists alike. Swonk's insights suggest that the economics do not support the notion that increased tariffs will stimulate U.S. car production. The data simply does not suggest that tariffs will lead to a resurgence in American manufacturing, she asserted, emphasizing that the global supply chain dynamics and consumer preferences are far more influential than protective tariffs. This perspective aligns with growing concerns within the automotive sector about potential job losses and higher vehicle prices, which could alienate consumers and stifle demand. The political backdrop of this economic analysis is significant as President Donald Trump, fresh into his second term, has faced a series of challenges ranging from soaring inflation to mass layoffs in government sectors. Despite these challenges, recent polling data reveals a surprising resilience in Trump's approval ratings. According to a Reuters Ipsos poll, his approval has edged up to 45%, a slight increase from previous weeks, indicating a steady base of support even amidst economic turmoil. The polling also highlights a contentious relationship with tariffs. While 39% of respondents approve of Trump's handling of tariffs, a striking 61% disapprove. This disparity reflects a broader apprehension among voters regarding the trade policies that are intended to protect American jobs but may inadvertently lead to adverse economic outcomes. As the tariffs approach, the looming threat of increased vehicle costs could undermine consumer confidence and purchasing power, especially in a market already grappling with inflationary pressures. Amidst this economic uncertainty, the 2026 midterm elections are beginning to cast a shadow over the current political climate. Polls indicate a divided Democratic Party grappling with historically low favorability ratings, which may complicate their strategy to counter Trump's policies. Notably, only 27% of registered voters view the Democratic Party positively. In this context, Trump's administration has pivoted to focus on immigration and economic policies that resonate with his voter base, which remains largely supportive of his hardline stance on these issues. As the automotive industry braces for the impending tariff hike, stakeholders are left to ponder its potential ramifications. While the administration's intent is clear, strengthening American manufacturing, the real-world consequences may run counter to that goal. Industry experts and economists will be closely monitoring the situation, as the interplay between tariffs, production, and consumer sentiment could reshape the landscape of U.S. auto manufacturing in the coming months. In conclusion, as we move further into 2025, the implications of these tariffs will unfold against a backdrop of shifting consumer attitudes and economic realities. The question remains: will these protectionist measures ultimately lead to the revival of American auto production, or will they exacerbate existing challenges? As both the political and economic narratives evolve, the coming weeks will be critical for understanding the true impact of these policies on the American automotive landscape. In a significant move that could reshape the way Wisconsin residents experience time. State lawmakers are rallying around a bipartisan bill aimed at abolishing daylight saving time. The legislation introduced in March seeks to establish a consistent standard time year-round, a change that proponents argue could enhance mental well-being and productivity while reducing workplace injuries and traffic accidents. Currently, 14 lawmakers from both sides of the aisle have co-sponsored the bill, which highlights a rare occasion of unity in a politically polarized environment. Notably, it is backed by both Republican authors, Representative Nate Gustafson and Senator Rachel Cabral Guevara, and Democratic Senator Chris Larson, indicating a growing consensus on the issue. Daylight saving time has been linked to various mental health challenges and disruptions in daily life, particularly for children in school, Gustafson remarked, emphasizing the need for a stable time framework. Federal law permits states entirely within one time zone, such as Wisconsin, to opt out of daylight saving if this decision is made collectively at the state level. If enacted, Wisconsin would join Hawaii and Arizona in abandoning the biannual clock changes that have sparked debate for decades. This is not the first time the issue has been broached. Previous efforts in 1999, 2001, and 2003 to push for Congress to make daylight saving time permanent failed to gain traction. The current bill's momentum reflects a broader national conversation about the impacts of daylight saving time, a practice that many argue disrupts sleep patterns and contributes to a variety of health-related issues. The legislative push echoes sentiments previously voiced by notable figures including former President Donald Trump, who similarly advocated for ending the practice. As discussions unfold in the Wisconsin legislature, this bill is not the only one capturing attention. Lawmakers are also exploring various initiatives, including tax credits to attract video game production to the state, addressing court backlogs for divorces, and a proposal for an economic justice bill of rights aimed at ensuring essential rights for residents. However, none of these initiatives have yet garnered significant legislative movement. For example, the proposed tax credits for video game production aim to capitalize on the exodus of companies from California, potentially creating high-paying jobs in Wisconsin. Additionally, a bill addressing the backlog in divorce cases seeks to streamline the process by allowing signed affidavits in lieu of court appearances, a measure that proved effective during the pandemic but faces scrutiny for its long-term viability. The growing number of initiatives reflects a concerted effort by lawmakers to address pressing issues affecting Wisconsin residents, from economic development to legal reform. As these discussions progress, the potential abolition of daylight saving time stands out as a pivotal moment in Wisconsin's legislative history, with implications that could resonate far beyond the state's borders. In conclusion, as Wisconsin grapples with these legislative proposals, the future remains uncertain. Should the daylight saving time bill pass, it could set a precedent for other states considering similar measures. As lawmakers continue to navigate the complexities of time, health, and economic reform, residents will be watching closely to see how these debates evolve in the coming months. In a striking development that underscores the intersection of technology, finance, and politics, a potential financial windfall for Wisconsin voters is hanging in the balance as the state's attorney general seeks to block a controversial $2 million donation from Elon Musk, scheduled for a pivotal court ruling. This situation raises questions not just about the legality of such financial maneuvers in the electoral process, but also about the broader implications for voter engagement and corporate influence in politics. The backdrop of this unfolding drama is Musk's unprecedented offer, which has garnered significant attention and sparked debate over the ethical considerations of wealthy individuals influencing democratic processes. The fact that a billionaire can unilaterally decide to distribute such a sum to voters raises concerns about the integrity of our electoral system, remarked a political analyst familiar with the case. Musk's intentions have been met with skepticism, with critics arguing that financial incentives could distort the voting landscape and lead to decisions based on monetary gain rather than civic duty. As the Wisconsin Attorney General moves to block Musk's donation, citing potential violations of state election laws, the case is poised to set a significant precedent. Legal experts suggest that the outcome could redefine the boundaries of campaign financing and voter incentives. This could either reinforce or dismantle the principles of fair elections depending on how the court interprets the law in relation to corporate donations, explained a constitutional law scholar. Public sentiment appears divided on the issue. While some voters are intrigued by the prospect of an unexpected financial boost, others express concern over the implications of accepting money from a figure as polarizing as Musk. "It puts voters in a precarious position," said a local voter. "It feels like we're being bought, and that's not what democracy should be about." At the heart of this controversy is the broader trend of increasing corporate involvement in politics, a phenomenon that has escalated in recent years. The reliance on large donations from individuals and corporations has led to calls for comprehensive reforms in campaign finance laws. As more tech moguls and business leaders enter the political arena, their influence raises critical questions about accountability and the future of voter engagement. As the clock ticks down to the court's ruling, all eyes are on Wisconsin. The outcome will likely reverberate far beyond the state's borders, potentially shaping the landscape of campaign finance and the role of technology in politics for years to come. Observers are keen to see whether this case will mark a pivotal moment in the ongoing dialogue about corporate influence in democracy, or if it will simply be another chapter in a long history of financial entanglements in electoral politics. In conclusion, while the immediate fate of Musk's donation hangs in the balance, the implications of this case extend into the future of electoral integrity and the evolving relationship between money and politics. As technology continues to advance and the lines between sectors blur, the need for clear regulations and ethical standards becomes ever more pressing. Whether Wisconsin will pave the way for reform or maintain the status quo remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the conversation surrounding corporate influence in democracy is far from over. Richard Chamberlain, the renowned actor best known for his role in the iconic NBC medical drama Dr. Kildare, passed away on March 29, 2025 at the age of 90. His death marks the end of a significant chapter in television history, and as fans and peers mourn his loss, questions about the future of his assets have emerged. Chamberlain's net worth at the time of his passing was estimated to be $25 million. A figure supported by reports from the Wall Street Journal, which noted that he sold a Maui home for an impressive $13.8 million in 2011. Chamberlain's career spans several decades, during which he became a household name and a prominent figure in the entertainment industry. His portrayal of a dashing young physician in Dr. Kildare, which aired from 1961 to 1966, solidified his status as a heartthrob in Hollywood. In addition to this role, he was recognized as the king of the miniseries, having played a pivotal role in popularizing the genre. His contributions to the arts extended beyond television, as he also earned acclaim on stage and in film, with a legacy that continues to influence actors today. Despite his public persona, Chamberlain's personal life was more private. He was divorced at the time of his death and did not have any publicly known children. As a result, the future of his substantial estate remains uncertain. In a heartfelt statement, his ex-husband Martin Rabbitt expressed deep sorrow over Chamberlain's passing, stating, "Our beloved Richard is with the angels now. He is free and soaring to those loved ones before us. How blessed were we to have known such an amazing and loving soul." The couple was together for over 30 years, suggesting that Rabbitt may play a significant role in the administration of Chamberlain's estate. Throughout his life, Chamberlain bravely navigated the complexities of fame and identity, particularly regarding his sexuality. He publicly came out as gay in 2003, a significant moment not only for him personally but also for representation within the entertainment industry. In a 2014 interview with the New York Times, he reflected on the challenges he faced growing up in a time when being gay was largely stigmatized, stating, "When you grow up in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, being gay, it not only ain't easy, it's just impossible." As the dust settles on Chamberlain's passing, the entertainment world is left to reflect on his myriad contributions and the impact he had on both television and society at large. The uncertainty surrounding the inheritance of his assets adds a layer of intrigue to this narrative, prompting discussions about the legacy of celebrities and how their personal lives intersect with their professional achievements. As we look to the future, it remains to be seen how Chamberlain's estate will be managed and whether any future projects will honor his memory and contributions to the arts. In a rapidly evolving world where cities are grappling with sustainability and aesthetic integration, the lessons drawn from architectural luminaries can often illuminate pathways forward. Recently, a compelling discourse emerged regarding the influence of renowned architect Frank Lloyd Wright's desert-era designs on Phoenix, Arizona. As the city contemplates its future amidst urban expansion and climate challenges, Wright's visionary principles could serve as a crucial guide to shaping a more harmonious urban environment. Wright, famed for his organic architecture, believed in designing structures that blended seamlessly with their surroundings. His work in the arid landscapes of the American Southwest, particularly in Taliesin West, showcased innovative adaptations to the desert climate. Wright's designs emphasized natural materials, open spaces, and a deep respect for the environment, which are increasingly relevant as Phoenix faces rising temperatures and water scarcity. Incorporating natural elements and sustainable practices is not just a trend, it's a necessity, said urban planner Dr. Jenna Castillo, reflecting on the urgent need for Phoenix to adopt strategies that promote ecological balance. As the metropolitan area continues to grow, the strain on resources intensifies. Wright's philosophy could inspire a rethinking of architectural norms, encouraging developers and city planners to prioritize nature alongside urban development. The Phoenix metropolitan area is already feeling the effects of climate change, with higher average temperatures and severe droughts impacting the quality of life. According to recent studies, the city's population is projected to swell to over 2 million by 2030, placing additional pressure on its already strained infrastructure. Embracing Wright's design principles could offer a blueprint for a more sustainable urban future, blending modern living with environmental stewardship. Local architect and historian Mark Reynolds noted Wright's concepts of space and light can transform how we think about residential and commercial architecture in the desert. Instead of building in opposition to nature, we should design with it. This perspective is crucial as Phoenix seeks to redefine its identity in an era of climate awareness. By fostering a dialogue around sustainable architecture, the city could lead the way in urban design that respects and enhances its unique desert landscape. Cities across the globe are increasingly adopting sustainable practices, but the need for Phoenix to embrace this shift is particularly pressing. As the conversation around Wright's influence grows, it highlights a broader trend. Cities must adapt their architectural and planning strategies to combat the realities of climate change. Local leaders are already exploring the integration of green roofs, rain gardens, and energy-efficient materials as part of their urban planning initiatives. The future of Phoenix hinges on its ability to learn from the past while innovating for the future. By looking to architectural pioneers like Frank Lloyd Wright, the city has the opportunity to carve out a distinctive path that honors its heritage while committing to a sustainable and resilient future. As discussions evolve, the challenge will be balancing growth with ecological mindfulness, an endeavor that could ultimately define the very essence of urban living in the desert. In a significant development for neonatal healthcare, a study published in the Journal of Perinatology has uncovered a dynamic relationship between plasma interleukin-1 family concentrations and the risk of bronchopulmonary dysplasia (BPD) in extremely premature infants. Conducted by a team of researchers from Shenzhen Maternity and Child Healthcare Hospital and other institutions, the study sheds light on the potential role of inflammatory biomarkers in predicting BPD, a serious condition affecting the lungs of premature infants. As the incidence of BPD remains a critical concern in neonatal care, especially among extremely preterm infants, understanding the underlying mechanisms is essential for developing effective interventions. The objective of this study was to evaluate the longitudinal changes of interleukin-1 alpha, interleukin-1 beta, and interleukin-1 receptor antagonist IL-1RA levels in these vulnerable infants and to determine their association with the development of BPD. Plasma samples were collected at 3 key postnatal time points, day 7, day 28, and at a postmenstrual age of 36 weeks. The researchers utilized the Bioplex Pro-Human Cytokine Panel to accurately measure the concentrations of these cytokines. Notably, infants who developed BPD exhibited significantly higher concentrations of IL-1 alpha, IL-1 beta, and IL-1RA by day 28 compared to their non-BPD counterparts, with statistical significance established for each cytokine p less than 0.05. One of the most striking findings was the identified threshold for IL-1 alpha concentration, where levels of 8.09 pg/ml or higher on day 28 were independently associated with an increased risk of developing BPD, yielding an odds ratio of 8.27 to 95% CI, 1.127 to 60.705. P equals 0.038. This suggests that elevated IL-1 alpha levels could serve as a predictive marker for BPD development, potentially guiding clinicians in identifying at-risk infants earlier in their hospital stay. The implications of this research are profound, as BPD is associated with long-term respiratory morbidity, increased healthcare costs, and an overall burden on families and healthcare systems. By elucidating the role of inflammatory processes in BPD, this study highlights the importance of monitoring cytokine levels as part of a comprehensive approach to managing extremely preterm infants. The study's findings contribute to a growing body of evidence emphasizing the need for targeted anti-inflammatory therapies that could mitigate the risk of BPD. The authors express hope that their work will prompt further investigations into cytokine modulation as a therapeutic strategy, potentially leading to better outcomes for this vulnerable population. As researchers continue to explore the interplay between inflammation and neonatal lung health, this pioneering study offers a promising avenue for enhancing care protocols and improving the prognosis for infants at risk of bronchopulmonary dysplasia. Future studies will be crucial in validating these findings and determining the clinical applicability of cytokine monitoring as a standard practice in neonatal units. As we look ahead, the integration of such biomarkers into routine assessments could significantly alter the landscape of neonatal care, providing a clearer pathway to preventive strategies against BPD and its associated complications. In a revealing turn of events within the Trump administration, insights have emerged regarding internal disagreements among high-ranking officials about military policy and strategic decisions. Following a controversial incident involving the use of the encrypted messaging app Signal, where discussions about sensitive military operations inadvertently included a journalist, the Wall Street Journal's editorial board has provided a nuanced analysis of the roles played by key figures in President Trump's inner circle. The editorial published recently highlights a stark division among Trump's advisors regarding U.S. military engagement. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz emerged as a staunch advocate for robust U.S. leadership and the implementation of the president's directives, while Vice President J.D. Vance expressed cautious skepticism. The tensions became public when a Signal chat, which included discussions on a military strike against Houthi targets in Yemen, was unintentionally exposed to Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. The operation, conducted on March 15, was later described by Trump as a necessary measure to protect American interests amidst ongoing threats. The editorial posits that Vance's reservations about the strike were significant. In the Signal discussion, he articulated concerns regarding the economic implications of the military action, particularly its potential to disrupt trade routes vital to European nations reliant on the Suez Canal. "I am not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now," Vance remarked, warning of a moderate to severe spike in oil prices. Despite his concerns, Vance ultimately aligned himself with the consensus of the group, stating, "I am willing to support the consensus of the team and keep these concerns to myself," a move that underscores the complex dynamics at play within the administration. The editorial board of The Wall Street Journal concluded that Trump is now acutely aware of which members of his team attempted to obstruct his policies and which stood resolutely behind them. This revelation could have significant ramifications for the internal cohesion of the administration, as it demonstrates the challenges of maintaining a unified front amidst differing ideologies and approaches to foreign policy. As the political landscape evolves, these internal conflicts within the Trump administration may set the stage for future confrontations regarding military strategy and international relations. The ongoing dialogue surrounding U.S. military operations and foreign policy responses continues to be an area of intense scrutiny, with potential implications for both domestic and international stability. Looking ahead, the administration must navigate these internal disagreements while addressing the broader implications of its military engagements. As pressures mount from various fronts, including economic considerations and geopolitical shifts, the ability of Trump and his team to reconcile differing viewpoints will be critical in shaping the future of U.S. foreign policy. In an era marked by rapid technological advancements, the scientific community is grappling with a growing sense of urgency and instability. Recent reports reveal a troubling trend. A significant number of U.S. scientists are contemplating leaving the country due to drastic funding cuts imposed by the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency. This decision has sent shockwaves through the scientific community, raising questions about the future of research and innovation in the United States. A poll conducted by the journal Nature highlights the gravity of the situation, showing that nearly 3/4 of U.S. scientists are considering relocating abroad. The survey, which gathered responses from over 1,200 researchers, indicates that early career scientists are particularly affected. Among the 690 postgraduate researchers surveyed, 548 expressed a desire to leave, while more than 250 of 340 PhD students echoed similar sentiments. As one postgraduate researcher poignantly stated, "I don't want to leave." But what's the alternative? The funding cuts have been severe and widespread. The administration's recent measures include layoffs at key agencies such as the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration (NASA), with the Department of Health and Human Services poised to lay off 10,000 workers. The impact on research funding is equally alarming, with NASA terminating $420 million in contracts deemed misaligned with the administration's priorities, and the National Institutes of Health cutting grants for COVID-19 research and environmental initiatives. These actions have not only led to the termination of at least 68 grants totaling nearly $40 million, but have also sparked protests across the nation as scientists voice their frustrations. The implications of these cuts extend beyond mere funding. As researchers express their concerns, many feel a profound sense of uncertainty about their future in the U.S. One graduate student in plant genomics lamented the loss of her research support and stipend, stating, "My mentors have been telling me to get out right now." The sentiment is echoed by others who fear that their fields of interest may no longer receive the support they need to thrive. International researchers who once moved to the U.S. for its academic opportunities are now contemplating a return to their home countries, recognizing that universities abroad are poised to capitalize on this exodus. As one researcher noted, international universities are seeing this as a once-in-a-generation opportunity to recruit. For many, the prospect of finding environments that prioritize scientific research and innovation is becoming increasingly appealing. Despite the grim outlook, there are voices of resilience within the scientific community. Some researchers express a commitment to stay as long as possible, citing the unparalleled research facilities available in the U.S. However, as funding continues to dwindle, the pressure to consider alternative options becomes ever more pronounced. The future of U.S. science hangs in a delicate balance, and the potential departure of a significant portion of the scientific workforce could have lasting repercussions on the country's ability to innovate and compete on a global scale. As the situation unfolds, it raises critical questions about the sustainability of scientific research in the U.S. The current environment, characterized by speed over reliability, could hinder the growth of knowledge and the development of groundbreaking technologies. Scientists are calling for a reassessment of priorities that recognizes the long-term value of research and its contributions to society. The coming months will be pivotal as the scientific community navigates this challenging landscape, and the decisions made today will undoubtedly shape the future of research in America.